Hello and welcome to the Addicts Anonymous podcast. I'm your host, Jamar. Today's episode 180, and we're going to be interviewing Josh. How you doing, Josh?
Not too bad yourself.
I'm doing well. So let's get the party started here. First question that I ask everybody is, tell me about your childhood and growing up. What was that like? Start from the
Great,
very beginning.
great. I grew up, played hockey till I was 16. Had
Oh,
a
I
really
play.
good
I played hockey also. What position were you?
defense.
Oh, me too.
Left or righty?
I'm a righty. I
Uh,
mean, but it's weird. I'm technically a lefty, but I play righty.
so I shoot left in hockey, but I shoot right in golf, which is bizarre.
Yeah. What hand do you write with?
I right with my right.
Yeah, I write with my left. All right, yeah, so keep going. You played hockey.
Yeah, no. So growing up was good. Until I was about 14, my parents split up. My mother has her own personal issues. She has bipolar.
Were they having problems? How long were they having problems for that you can remember?
Well, you want to chime in on that, Father? uh, uh, Ongoing. Well, she was sick, so it was an ongoing thing.
Yeah, I'm bipolar also. What kind of symptoms would present themselves? Like what kind of stuff was she doing?
Uh, what wasn't she doing? Suicide attempt after suicide attempt. Uh, Pretty much, making her kids feel guilty. I'm the black sheep considered to her now, just because of my life choices, and yeah. But
Sounds
growing
pretty
up with my
rough.
dad, no, I grew
Sounds
up
like
with
it
my
was.
dad.
Oh, you grew up with your dad?
Yeah, yeah, I lived with him, and that was great. He's probably been my biggest supporter next to my wife.
So growing up with dad was good.
Yeah,
How did all this stuff affect your social life? Like, did you have a lot of friends?
I had a lot of friends. I was a social, so a lot of not so many.
You broke up a little bit. Not so many what?
I said not so much anymore because a lot of the people I've encountered over the past 5 years haven't really been good influences.
These your friends from back in the day?
I still talk to a few. There's like two or three that I still communicate with regularly, but a lot of them, they went down a pretty dark path too. So,
What kind of path did they go down? Do you know what they were
uh,
using?
yeah, using fentanyl. Two of my best friends are dead. We just buried one 3 months, 2 months ago.
That sucks. Sorry to hear
Yeah.
that. So
Uh,
they were they getting fentanyl on purpose?
yeah.
See, that's crazy to me because I would be so scared because I've seen pictures online where they show it looks like a few granules of salt or something, and they say that's how much it can take to kill you if it was fentanyl.
Yeah. They say it's 2 micrograms, which is basically 2 or 3 grains of salt.
Yes, I mean, how do you even get high off of it? Like it's such a small amount. I mean, to do a lot of it would be just insane. But I guess we are kind of insane when we're in the throes of addiction.
The last 3 years, I was using on average probably half a gram,
Is it half a gram?
yeah, to a gram, and then methamphetamine mixed.
So you were doing both those at the same time.
Yeah,
What
yeah,
age? What age did you first start using drugs and alcohol? For some reason, you're cutting in and out.
it's choppy service out here. 15 years old.
Who'd you first use with?
Uh, Buddies from school.
What was it?
Cocaine, alcohol, you name it. I've done it.
So one of the first things you did was cocaine.
Yeah,
Wow, you dove right into it.
yeah. I've smoked cannabis pretty much since I was 14 years old. And
Has that has that
I
ever
know
been a
it's a
problem
drug
for you?
too, but
Well,
no,
I mean,
it's
it's a drug, but to me, weed is the same thing as cigarettes.
yeah,
Like if you told me you smoke cigarettes and or you smoke weed, I feel the same way about it. It's just like, well, it's your choice. What is that, weed?
smokes, cigarettes,
Cigarettes?
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's the same thing because I mean, but to me, cigarettes are worse because at least if you're smoking weed, you get it from a reliable source, like and maybe you get it from a dispensary, you know it's safe, it's clean, and it's literally just a plant. Like that's all
Yep.
it is a plant. Versus obviously other stuff has to be mixed, it's got to be cut. You know what I mean? You don't know what you're getting when you do cocaine.
Well, now we just got a warning in the city where I live, Calgary. Um, I guess a bad batch has gone around. There was right across from my apartment last night. There was 4 overdose deaths from a batch of cocaine and mixed with fentanyl. So,
I mean, that's another thing is they put fentanyl in everything nowadays.
yep. And it's ever since the border closure, it's not fentanyl anymore. It's you name it, it's in there.
Yeah, I remember watching this what was it called? It was called Trafficked, I believe was the name of the show from National
Yep.
Geographic. And they did a special on fentanyl and they just showed all the chemicals it takes. It's pretty much all chemicals.
Watch a documentary from Vice. It's actually filmed in my hometown of Calgary. How bad the opiate epidemic
I've
is here.
probably seen it. I've probably seen
Yeah,
it. I've seen a lot of Vice stuff.
it's sad. And I mean, these kids are, 14, 15 years old,
Yeah, they're
hooked
babies
on this shit.
basically.
And it's sad.
One
Now that
wrong.
I've been through it and gone through it, I feel nothing but sorrow for these people.
Yeah, I mean, addiction's a bitch. It makes you do stupid things. It
Uh,
makes you not care. And for some reason, we all think we're fucking different, and we're not. It's
hmm
like, oh, well, I'm gonna be okay. I'm not like the other person that just overdosed, and then you're gone.
You know what? Fentanyl and all these other drugs that they have, they don't discriminate. It's not a race thing. It's not a cultural thing. It's not a religious thing. It's anyone and everyone.
Yep.
I've seen lawyers downtown fentanyl right out to the point they're nodding off in their car.
Yeah. It happens to anybody. Doesn't matter about your socioeconomic status or who you're married to or anything like that. You know what I mean? It's just can happen to anyone. And you hear stories of these people that are wealthy and life seems to be perfect for them, picture perfect, and they go down that dark road.
hmm
So, stupid question. What were your grades like in school?
Junior high was okay, and then high school hit. I sort of sloughed that's
You're breaking up again. I'm not sure if maybe you're putting your hand on the microphone or something.
try that. Yeah, so I mean, they were okay in junior high. I mean, I wasn't on a roll student, but I wasn't dumb. High school came around, the
Because you
buddies,
said
and
first thing you tried was cocaine. What grade was that?
would have been grade 9.
Okay, so you were a freshman.
Yeah, and then I mean, did that for a couple of years, and finally put that down. And then with the fentanyl addiction, I mean, it started up again. So I was using coke, fentanyl, meth, crack, you name it.
By what age?
I was when I really got bad with the fentanyl. I mean, that was 3 years ago, so I would have been 30, 29.
So you've been doing this for a long time.
Yeah, like the coke, I've always been able to, I can do it, and I've been able to put it down. Fentanyl and meth were not like that. The best way I can describe it, it's like chains were wrapped around me and I couldn't get out of them.
What's
And you know
crystal
that
meth like? What does it do?
scary.
Like, it's scary.
Yeah. I
Why is
mean
it?
I broke from reality. I didn't know my wife, I didn't know my father, I didn't know my kids. I put a gun up to my wife's head because I thought she'd broke into my house, my 308, and yeah, it makes you a different animal.
Do you have any mental health conditions?
Nope.
How long were you? So how long in total did you use? Because you said one more time. What age were you when you started?
I started when I was 15,
15.
and
Okay, that's
then
right. You said you were a freshman.
yeah, and then my 20s, like 21, 22, 23, I was really bad into cocaine, and then
But
managed
at
to,
that point, you're so young, but you've been using about 7 years at that point.
yeah,
That's a long time to be using. You get a heavy tolerance.
yeah. I mean, it started out as a little bag here, and the bag turned to half an ounce to an ounce to it got bad
Did you use alone, or were you with a lot of friends and stuff?
with friends.
And they were all doing the same shit as you?
Yeah.
Do you know if any of them also had addiction issues like you?
My one buddy Dylan, he is pretty bad with it. I mean, it's been consistent for over 10 years.
Well, he's on meth and cocaine also,
Just coke.
just coke.
Yeah.
Does he do the fentanyl like also or no?
No. No, and when I finally told him that this is what's been happening the past 3 years, it was, oh, you're a piece of shit, this, that. And it's like, dude, addiction's a fucking addiction. Whether it's coke, liquor, weed, sex, gambling, you're still an addict.
Yeah, because everything you name can still destroy your life.
Yep.
It's just how does it destroy your life?
He's learning that now. He had probably $100,000 job a year, uh, hauling for a company here, KLS Trucking. And I mean, one drug test, he popped positive, and that was the end of that.
That sucks.
Yeah. And trying to help him, it's like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. And well, obviously I do, because I've come out the other side from some pretty hefty shit.
When would you say you're like the height of your drug abuse? When was it actually the worst? When did it get bad?
30, 30, 31, 32, 33. Right up until about 3 months ago. July 2nd was my clean date.
And how long ago? So you were getting clean after how long were you using?
Fentanyl and meth, it was 3 years straight, pretty much every day. There wasn't a day I wasn't high in that 3 year span. Like I miss Christmas functions, I miss get-togethers with family because the drugs were more important. I moved out of my house with my wife for 10 years because I threw an adult temper tantrum because she wouldn't let me use drugs in the house anymore.
How was your family life? Did you have so you said you have a girlfriend and a wife? Do you have kids?
Yeah, I got two boys. They're from her first marriage, but I mean, I took them on at 21, and yeah, it was 21.
You were 21.
Yeah.
How old were they?
Uh, 2 and 6.
So you're pretty much their dad their whole life.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's a
My
good
my
thing.
one, the one younger son, his father is sick too, and I'll call it sick because it is.
You mean with addiction.
Yeah,
So
and
you
we
believe it, you think addiction's an illness.
personally I do.
I don't know what I think. Because it does present symptoms just like other diseases. But I also think we have some say what we do. It's just a matter of when we have enough strength or when we gather enough strength to do something about it.
True, and I mean that took me 3 years to figure that out.
Yeah, it's
From
not an easy
everything,
thing.
I financially bankrupted us. I had my own company, my own roofing company that went down the tubes. I fell off a roof 34 feet, broke my femur because I was high.
How old were you when you started your business?
I was 29, and then shit went sideways with that, and that's when the drug use started.
When your business went down?
Yeah.
What kind of drug you what, did it? So you're using mainly cocaine and meth. Was that throughout your entire drug use career, or did you switch from time to time?
No, it was mostly cocaine.
So you like uppers.
Yeah. And then I mean, I found the downers, fentanyl and morphine and stuff like that. And I guess you could say I sort of fell in love with it for a bit.
So you also like the painkillers.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. Like I'm fighting poly addiction. There's three or four things that I'm coming off of. So it's been hard. I've talked to heavy cocaine addicts, heroin addicts, and they're like, I would not want to be in your shoes. Coming off of that many things, I would not want to be there.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. Those things are the only life you ever knew, or not ever knew, but the only life you knew for so long.
Hmm.
Because when they ask you to get sober, you're not just stopping the use of drugs. You're kind of stopping an entire lifestyle that you have gotten used to.
Well, it's like the neural pathways in your brain. You have to learn everything again, like how
Yeah,
to function in normal society again.
yeah, it's called neuroplasticity when your brain has the ability to reshape itself and reform and build new habits and things like that. Good habits.
Yeah. So anyway,
So,
it's been a journey. Let's say that.
so at what age did you say? And you could totally smoke if you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Um, at what age did you say you had enough of this shit?
3 months ago.
And how old are you right now?
33.
33. Oh, you're a young guy, so you still got your whole life ahead of you.
Yeah. Yeah. July 2nd, I woke up and said, you know what? Fuck this. It isn't for me anymore.
Was there anything, a precipitating factor that made you feel that way?
You get to a point where you're just sick and tired of being sick and tired
Yeah.
and living that life. It's draining. The scheming you have to do, to crime, to whatever you have to do to pay for that next suit. It's draining.
What kind of schemes and crimes were you doing?
Uh, I mean, everything from assault with deadly weapons to robberies to vehicle theft.
What was the reason for doing these things? Like, for robbing, were you looking for anything specific, or are you just looking for stuff to sell for drugs?
Stuff to sell, or I was in debt with a dealer and he said, go rob this guy and I'll clear your debt, or it's gonna be you on the receiving end. So
So you were kind of extorted and forced into doing that.
hmm
How did that
and
make
then
you feel being forced into something like that?
honestly, like a piece of shit. Coward. I mean, I'm a pretty big boy. I'm 6'3", 225, and the brain. Obviously, from an addict perspective, it's okay. Well, if I don't do this, I'm gonna go through withdrawals, and that's probably one of the scariest things that will ever happen, and I don't want to face that. So I guess the next person walking down the street with a nice chain on is my victim. It makes you feel like an absolute scumbag.
So you were actually feeling shitty while you were doing this, like you didn't want to.
No,
I find that interesting. You're gonna go rob someone and you really don't want to do it, but you feel like you have to.
yeah, definitely screws with your head a bit. And
So
then,
what would you do once you rob someone? Did you give it directly to your friend or did you go to the pawn shop?
I would try to go to the pawn shop. I mean, the one knew me pretty good, so every time I come in, it was get out or we're calling the police. So then it would go to my buddy, and I mean, whatever he would pay for that would write off my debt. It's a vicious cycle.
Oh, it absolutely is. How long did were you live in that lifestyle?
Uh, I mean, the past 3 years,
That's when the heavy shit went on with you robbing and stuff.
when I found fentanyl and meth full time, that's
Do
when
you
the
mix
dark
them
side.
together or you use them separately?
I mean, depends if I was around family and didn't want them to see me sitting there nodding off, I'd use them both together so it would sort of balance each other out. And then days that I wanted to be crazy and act like a lunatic, it was just meth.
What would you do that made you a lunatic on meth?
I mean, you completely break from reality. It's the best way I can describe it. It's like you're in a video game. It's like you're a character in Grand Theft Auto. The way it changes your mind and your thoughts and your mindset it's scary.
Were you using large amounts?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my philosophy when I was using it was go big or go home.
So 3 years ago, you decided to get your shit together.
No, 3 months ago.
3 months ago,
This,
I'm sorry, I knew it
yeah,
was three.
no worries. Yeah.
3 months ago. Yeah, no, that's what I meant. Um, what what like I said, what was the reason that you said I need to get my life together? And once you did, what exactly did you do? What was the first step you took?
Well, I mean, I didn't want to die. I had overdosed on the toilet in my bathroom to the point for 45 minutes my wife did CPR to bring me back. From falling off a roof, breaking my femur. It was a whole mix of things that, I finally woke up one morning and said, screw this. I went and flushed my fentanyl and meth down the toilet and said, I'm done.
That's a scary thing to do.
Yeah. And I mean, within the 3 months, there's been times, I have slipped. And the best way I can describe it is you're climbing up a rope ladder. Like, you can have all the support in the world, but if you let go, you're gonna fall. You can have people under you supporting you, that you're gonna fall. And I mean, in these 3 months, I've gone to pick up stuff and I've come home and, thought about it and flushed it down the toilet. Or I had stash spots all over my house that we've gone and cleaned out. And, I can't say it's been easy flushing it down the toilet, but in the end, I think that's what needed to be done, or I probably wouldn't be here talking to you today.
Yeah, obviously you shouldn't be using anything. So all that's done with. So you're 100% moving forward. You're clean. What is life like for you right now?
probably the best it's been in quite a while. I mean, I've got a great job, a wicked boss. I've got a good support system behind me. It's been it's been enjoyable. I've got back to doing normal shit again. You know, I'm biking every night with the wife. I'm going fishing every other weekend with my dad. It's been good.
It's amazing how much we could turn our lives around.
When you want to, you know, you can't change for my dad or my wife or my kids. It had to be for me.
Exactly. That's when things become possible. So getting towards the end here, um, what's life like now? How's it, what's a day like in for you? You get up, what do you do? Is there anything special you do?
Uh, I honestly thank God I made it another day.
So you pray?
Yeah, I mean we were fairly religious when I was younger, and then I sort of lost faith in that. And, I mean, now it's probably been one of my bigger supports.
So you've got faith now.
Yeah,
And when you say one of your biggest supports, what do you mean, like the church community or something?
not so much a church community. My wife's mother and father-in-law, whatever you want to call him, they're pretty heavy Christians, so it's been getting a lot of support from them and their family friends.
What kind of things do they do to support you?
I mean, everything from we're there every other week for dinner and just even sitting around a table talking.
So do you have any advice for people watching and listening?
Stop while you can. Make the change for yourself and no one else. And like honestly, seek help. This group has been absolutely amazing since I joined them. So reach out.
All right. So did you have anything else that you want to add in?
Not at this time, no.
You good to go? You had a good time today telling your story?
Yeah, no, I'd like to do this again, maybe a couple months down the road. And
Yeah, we can do an update, see how you're doing.
yeah,
All right, my friend. So I guess let's wrap it up, right? So,
sounds good.
all right, sit tight for me. And for everybody watching and listening, if you like what you saw and heard, go below and give us a like. Also, subscribe to see when we upload new videos. You can also check us out on all social media platforms: Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, Tumblr, Instagram, and TikTok. Also, check out our website, www.addicts-anonymous.com. There you will find plenty of resources as well as a lot of free literature. So, once again, I hope you enjoyed today. And until next time.